Good morning, everyone. In this week's Torah portion, the Torah says that God chose Bezalel, the son of Uri, the grandson of Hur, to do all the craftsmanship and the design of the tabernacle. And here's what the verse says. See, I have called by name Bezalel, the son of Uri, the son of Hur, from the tribe of Judah, and I filled them up with the knowledge and wisdom and the crafts of weaving and design to work with gold and silver and with wood. I filled them with the knowledge and wisdom and understanding and the inspiration to be able to perform all of the different crafts in designing and manufacturing all the vessels of the tabernacle. And the question is, what does it mean when the verse says that God said, see, I have called by name Bezalel and filled them with wisdom, knowledge, and understanding and inspiration to do all of the works of art in designing the temple? What does it mean, I have called him by name? Where has God called him by name? And the answer is that even in today's day in English, we say there's a calling. What's a calling? A calling is your mission, your purpose, your specific goal and abilities that God endowed you with. And the question is, how do you know what your calling is? We're not born with a note that says this is your calling in life. So listen to what the verse is saying. The verse is saying, see, I have called you by name. How have you called me by name? By filling you up. I filled you up with wisdom, knowledge, understanding, with the special abilities and inspiration to be able to design gold, silver, weaving, woodwork. That's how you know what your calling is. What does that mean for everyone on a practical level? What it means to say is that your special talents that God gave you, your resources, your skills, your potential is your calling. When you look at yourself and you see, what do I have? What are my abilities? What is my uniqueness? That is your calling in life. When Bezalel saw that he was designed, he was created by God with special artistic talents, that told him that, see, I have called you and gave you this mission and this task to build a tabernacle. Every person has special abilities, and that's the way we know what our calling and our purpose in life is. Here in the town of Palm Beach, there was a terrible tragedy less than 2 weeks ago. A 79-year-old woman who I actually knew because she worked for the Palm Beach Daily News back in the 1990s, and she did many stories on the synagogue. A lovely woman, Carol Wright, was going over the bridge that connects Palm Beach to West Palm Beach, and the Drawbridge went up to allow the boats, the yachts, to go through. And tragically, this 79-year-old woman was walking her bicycle across the bridge, and the bridge started to go up on her. And she tried to hold on to the railings, but tragically, she was 79 years old, she couldn't hold on, and she fell 6 stories to her death. And I personally and the synagogue offer our deepest condolences to her family, because she was really a lovely, sweet woman. I have very fond memories of her. But now there's a whole investigation. How did something like this so tragic happen? There's a special tower where there is a bridge tender who looks down and makes sure that there's no pedestrians on the walkway as you lift the bridge. And there's 2 gates that go down to prevent anyone from going over when the bridges are going up. How is it that they pressed the button and lifted the bridge while there was a woman walking across the middle section that the bridges go up on? And it's just a terrible tragedy, and I'm sure there'll be a long investigation and there'll be reports on how this happened and measures taken that this should never happen again. But it reminds me of a story. In the olden days, there was trains that would come and go, and they didn't have the modern electronic measures that we have today. So there was a man whose job it was to stand on the tracks at the crossroad and wave a lantern in the tunnels to let the train know which one can go and which one has to stop, so that there's no accidents. And one day there was a terrible accident, a collision between 2 trains. And a big investigation was done. And they called in this tender whose job it was to wave the lantern, and they interrogated him and asked all the questions. Were you standing in your position? Were you waving the lantern in the right direction when the trains were coming? Did you see the And after a long investigation, they exonerated him. They acquitted him of any wrongdoing. When he came home to his family, he broke down sobbing. And his family said, "Why are you sobbing? They exonerated you. They said you were innocent. You were standing on your post. You were waving the lantern. You were doing everything you were supposed to do." And the man said to his family, "Well, they failed to ask me one question." And they said, "What is that?" And he said, "The question they didn't ask me was, they asked me if I was in my position, if I was waving the lantern, but they didn't ask me if the lantern was lit." And the message of the story is sometimes we're doing all the things we're supposed to do. We're going through the motions. We're waving the lantern. But we do it without feeling, without passion, without fire. Our souls are not lit when we do it. And therefore the Torah says, look into yourself. See the inspiration, the knowledge, the wisdom, the talents, the skills that God gave you. Don't just go through life motionless or with motion, but without feeling, without thought. Make sure you learn your calling. And the way you do that is look within yourself and see the unique fire and passion and abilities that God endowed you with. Have a wonderful day.